Welcome to another episode, $10,000 Breakfast, how Tiffany turned souvenirs into a gold mine. Today, I want to tell you a story that perfectly captures the power of premium merchandise. Picture this, my friend, standing in Tiffany on Fifth Avenue, looking at a porcelain mug and declaring, "I will never spend $350 on a mug." 10 minutes later, she's walking out with that exact mug, beaming with happiness. That little turquoise box completely demolished her budget concerns, her rational thinking, everything. And I stood there wondering, what exactly makes people who have access to genuine luxury items willingly spend 10 times the market price for something as ordinary as a mug? What's the secret that transforms everyday objects into treasured possessions? And more importantly, how can we apply this magic to transform the forgettable branded merchandise that floods our world into powerful marketing tools? Let me share what I witnessed in New York recently, my friend from Shanghai, and we're talking about someone who sleeps on fretted silk sheets, casually wears a Patek Philippe watch, and wouldn't think twice about buying a Hermes bag, was visiting me in New York. After our morning run in Central Park, we popped into Tiffany. The store had just opened, so there weren't any tourists yet. A consultant approached us with warm smiles and offered coffee. My friend confidently said, "We're just looking," with all the determination of someone who wasn't planning to spend a dime. 30 minutes later, we're walking out with that signature turquoise bag. Inside, a porcelain mug with New York and the city skyline, a keychain, and a box of chocolates. Total damage, $880. "What just happened in there?" I asked with a knowing smile. She shrugged, looking slightly bewildered but utterly delighted. "I don't know. It's Tiffany." Here's the kicker. As soon as we left the store, she photographed that mug for Instagram. When she returned to Shanghai, where, mind you, she already owns dozens of cups, she placed it in the most prominent spot in her home. Within 2 months, at least 5 of her friends had asked where they could get one too. That, my friends, is not just a purchase, that's marketing magic. So, let me break down what makes Tiffany's approach to merchandise so brilliant. First, they transform ordinary items into extraordinary treasures. At Tiffany, you can buy things you'd never associate with a jewelry brand, playing cards, basketball balls, chess sets, Christmas ornaments, but they elevate these everyday items through absolutely flawless execution. That $350 mug, it's made of high-quality porcelain with perfect glazing and impeccable printing. It's designed to last for decades, not just until the next office cleanout. That iconic packaging, the turquoise box with white ribbon that's become more recognizable than many global logos. People literally keep empty Tiffany boxes for years. The purchasing ritual itself. The service at Tiffany is identical whether you're buying a $50,000 ring or a $150 keychain. This consistent experience becomes part of what you're paying for. Second, they've created an entire ecosystem of experiences. Tiffany has brilliantly transformed their flagship store into a destination. Their Blue Box Cafe offers the literal breakfast at Tiffany's experience, complete with champagne and black caviar. People come for the experience and leave as customers. Think about it. Everyone who has breakfast at that cafe becomes an unpaid brand ambassador, taking photos, posting on social media, telling friends. It's marketing genius. And third, and this is the real secret, they've mastered democratization without devaluation. This is the strategy that 90% of brands completely miss. Tiffany allows almost anyone to join the club without diluting their premium value. Their affordable souvenirs, ranging from $150 to $300, serve as an entry point to the brand. Today you buy a mug, next year maybe a silver photo frame, and 5 years down the road perhaps a diamond necklace. They're creating customers for life, not just for the moment. But, and this is crucial, Tiffany never compromises on quality. Even their simplest keychain must meet their exacting standards. Without this commitment, the entire strategy would collapse. Now, contrast this with what most companies do with their branded merchandise. It's actually painful to think about, isn't it? Most businesses view merchandise as a necessary expense rather than a strategic investment. Cut corners on quality, materials, and design. Create items that people feel embarrassed to use in their daily lives. Focus entirely on logo placement and forget the emotional experience. The result? Mountains of plastic pens, forgettable mugs, and cheap notebooks that go straight from the conference swag bag to the trash can. It's not just wasted money, it's a wasted opportunity to create lasting connections. Tips for transformation. So how can we apply these lessons to transform the branded merchandise in our world, whether for corporations, cruise lines, hotels, or retail brands? How do we create items that leave lasting impressions in people's memories, hearts, and yes, on their desks? Here are my top strategies for turning ordinary branded merchandise into powerful marketing tools. First, design for display, not disposal. Ask yourself, would someone proudly display this item where others can see it? If your branded merchandise is something people hide in drawers or only use when nothing else is available, you've already failed. Great merchandise should be something people want to show off, whether it's a beautifully designed water bottle that goes to every meeting or a desktop accessory that sparks conversations. Second, focus on the sensory experience. Premium brands understand that we experience products with all our senses. The weight of a good pen in your hand, the sound a quality notebook makes when you open it, the texture of a well-made fabric bag. These details matter enormously. Even on a limited budget, you can prioritize one sensory element that elevates the entire experience. Maybe it's using a higher quality paper for your notebooks or adding a subtle scent to your packaging. Third, create collection potential. One-off items get forgotten, collections get displayed and completed. So, think about creating merchandise that people want to collect over time. Seasonal variations, limited editions, or items that work together as a set. Hotels could release location-specific items that frequent guests collect from different properties. Technology companies could create annual editions that become markers of someone's history with the brand. Fourth, align with actual lifestyle usage. The branded items that stick around are the ones that fit seamlessly into people's lives. Instead of asking, what can we put our logo on? Zerenia asks, what do our ideal customers use every day? And how can we elevate that experience? A financial services firm might create the perfect portfolio case that clients actually use for important meetings. A wellness brand might design the ideal water bottle that fits in car cup holders, gym equipment, and desk setups. Fifth, tell a story beyond your logo. Your merchandise should communicate your brand values through design, not just through slapping a logo on an item. The materials you choose, the craftsmanship, the attention to detail, these elements tell people what your brand stands for more powerfully than any tagline. A sustainability-focused company should create merchandise that visibly demonstrates those values through materials and production methods. A luxury brand should ensure every element reflects meticulous attention to detail. So, and perhaps most importantly, connect your merchandise to meaningful moments. The items people keep forever are the ones tied to significant experiences or achievements. A cruise line could create beautiful mementos tied to specific voyage milestones. A corporation could design recognition items that mark career achievements in a meaningful way. When your branded item becomes the physical representation of a cherished memory, it transforms from merchandise into meaning. The beauty of these strategies is that they don't necessarily require enormous budgets, just thoughtfulness and intention. You can create meaningful merchandise at various price points if you prioritize quality and experience over quantity. And remember, when someone uses your branded item in public, they're not just using a product. They're endorsing your brand to everyone who sees it. They're becoming walking ambassadors of your brand values. That cheap promotional pin that falls apart after 2 uses, that's saying something about your company too. So, next time you're planning your merchandise strategy, think less about what's cheapest per unit and more about what will create brand advocates. Think about what might end up photographed and shared, what might be kept for years, what might become someone's favorite item. Because that's when branded merchandise stops being just stuff and starts being a strategic marketing tool with lasting impact. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you created or received branded merchandise that really made an impact? Or have you seen examples of brands doing this particularly well? Let me know in the comments or reach out on our social channels. Until next time, I'm helping you transform everyday brand touch points into magical moments that matter.